If we pursue our aspirations together, we should be able to achieve our goals collectively. And these were the words of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, during his live broadcast today as part of the activities marking the 60 years of independence of Nigeria. And that brings me to the topic of our discussions today, and Nigeria at 60, the role of agricultural institutions in nation building. Today's edition will be special. Why? Because it is Independence celebration and it's a special edition for that celebration. And secondly, it is a conversation with the CEO. On this edition, we'll bring chief executive officers of organizations, whether private or public, to this particular show. Today, I have a very big fish in my pond. I have the Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta FUNAB. He's an erudite scholar, a brilliant professor, a distinguished professor for that matter, and of course, an administrator par excellence, Professor Felix Kolawole Salako. You are most welcome to Your Image.
Good evening.
Like I said earlier, this is a special edition, 60 years of independence of Nigeria, the role of agricultural institutions in nation building. And this topic is very germane. It was part of the President's speech this morning that to grow as a nation, we must give, of course, credence to agriculture. And that is why we brought Professor Felix Kolawole Salako, the Vice Chancellor of FUNAB, to our show today. This is Your Image. It is you live from this studio. You are welcome. And permit me to welcome and introduce to you formally the guest on my show today, Professor Salako, and I'll just take one or two things about his life and times before I begin to throw questions at him. Professor Felix Kolawole Salako, the 6th substantive Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta FUNAB, is a fellow of the Soil Science Society of Nigeria and was born on April 18, 1961. He attended the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, between 1978 and 1983 to study agriculture with specialization in soil science. He emerged the best graduating student of his department in 1983 with B. Agriculture, Soil Science, second class upper division. After his mandatory National Youth Service Corps at the Department of Soil Science at Ahmadu Bello University, ABU Zaria, returned to Nsukka and graduated with an MSc degree, Soil Physics/Soil Conservation in 1986. Professor Salako began his career in 1987 as a consulting soil scientist at TCI Associates, Ibadan. He later proceeded to the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, Ibadan, Oyo State in 1989 to manage first an IITA United Nations University project located inside Okomo Oil Palm Company, Okomo Forest Reserve, Edo State, as a resident research associate. He eventually worked on different research projects at IITA Ibadan for 11 solid years. Professor Salako joined the services of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta FUNAB, in 2000 as a senior lecturer in the Department of Soil Science and Land Management for the Department of Soil Science and Agriculture Mechanization. Apart from teaching courses at undergraduate and postgraduate levels, he has supervised more than 45 undergraduate projects and more than 30 postgraduate theses. He was an acting head of the Department of Soil Science and Land Management from February 2001 to December 2006. He became a professor of soil physics in 2006, and he has to his credit more than 90 publications in learned journals, book chapters, conference proceedings, and technical reports. He was reappointed head of SSLM again between January and March 2008 after a year of sabbatical at the University of Venice, Italy. In March 2008, my guest, Professor Salako, the Vice Chancellor of FUNAB, was appointed the Director, Agricultural Media Resources and Extension Center, AMREC, a position he held till March 2011. He became the Pioneer Director, Community-Based Farming Scheme, COPFAS, from March 2nd, 2011 to September 2011. He moved to become the Deputy Vice Chancellor Development in September 2011 and spent 2 terms of 2 years each till December 2015. Professor Salako was listed in Macoy's Who is Who in Science and Engineering, 8th edition, between 2005 and 2006 for outstanding achievement. He has won many research support grants, which included Third World Academy of Science, and the training and research in Italian laboratories of the Abdus Salam International Center for Theoretical Physics, Italy. He participated actively from 2016 and 2020 in the African Cassava Agronomy Initiative as the Southwest Coordinator under the auspices of IITA in Ibadan. My guest today, Professor Salako, focused his research over the years, one on rainfall, aerovicity and soil conservation, soil water flux and evaporation, and soil water management, among others. Professor Salako is a devout Christian, is a deacon in his church, and he reads extensively. I will have the pleasure of introducing once again the Vice Chancellor of FUNAB, Professor Felix Kolawole Salako, to your image. You are most welcome, sir.
Good evening.
Prof, sir, as part of the activities marking the 60 years of independence of Nigeria, we want to focus on agriculture. To start with, let me ask, what are the core mandates of universities of agriculture in Nigeria in terms of food production?
I think the mandate, at least for us in FUNAB, and I believe it applies to the other old universities of agriculture, that is the Makurdi, University of Agriculture Makurdi, and the Michael Okpara University, Umudike. A new one was created recently, is to be in Zuru, and should have taken up in September 2020. The mandate basically is that we should teach, we should carry out research, and we should also be involved in community development, which traditionally is called extension.
Okay.
So with this threefold mandate for the universities of agriculture, we are expected to be different in terms of community development. We have quite a number of faculties of agriculture in Nigeria. There are about 17 universities offering agriculture. But the universities of agriculture are supposed to integrate everything they do, whether it is basic science, engineering, or management science, into development of agriculture in Nigeria in a holistic way, rather than being too academic with whatever we are doing. That is the essence of establishment of the universities of agriculture in Nigeria. Yes, we have colleges of agriculture, state colleges, federal colleges, institutes of agriculture for research, but we should apply all knowledge that we garner within the University of Agriculture and tailor it towards the development of agriculture in Nigeria.
But may I ask again, sir? FUNAB, as a specialized university in Nigeria, from research, they have been awarded Best University of Agriculture in Nigeria on a number of times. What has been the secret over the years? What makes FUNAB to stand out?
I want to believe that the staff are dedicated. They are committed to their work. And one thing that is observable there is that we have staff who have made their marks generally in different aspects of agriculture. You just read my profile now.
Yes.
I've been involved in what you call African Cassava Agronomy Initiative. The university has been involved for more than a decade in what they call cassava adding value. Cassava adding value activities sponsored by Bill and Melinda Gates. We have a livestock development breakthrough in terms of FUNAB Alpha chicks developed by one of our professors. So we have had dedicated staff that have been making their marks generally in the area of agriculture over the years. And I think that has helped us in terms of the image of the university.
Yes, I was coming to that image, and that will be a pointer to my next question. Community relations is one of the core values of public relations. And a number of times you have been addressed as a media-friendly vice chancellor. What is the secret? Have you had any course to attend any publications course of communication? Because from records, we learned that you are media-friendly, and that reflects in some of the projects that you have carried out. First, we noticed that when you got there, you tagged the road from Alabata down to the university, and many more. So some of these things you have done. So what has been your vision when you got to office as the vice chancellor?
The issue of being media friendly, I think I would rather call it a natural thing, natural disposition to human beings. My belief in in terms of development of humanity. So I think I have more inclination, a lot of inclination towards community development, whether media, traditional rulers, secondary schools, primary schools, human beings generally. So the issue is more related to a natural inclination to do certain things. So the media friendliness will always be there because it is natural for me to be so. Now the issue of getting the road from camp to the university gate,
Yes.
getting it done in 2019 was something that bordered on the fact that I felt the pain that everybody was feeling. Our professors were complaining, cars were damaged, and it was the road that was flying anyway. So it was not a question of anybody giving me secondary information. I had first-hand experience. It was terrible.
Wow.
But I was only lucky that we were moved in 2017 before I came on board to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture for budgetary provisions. And our budget allocation included asking, or included an approval for rehabilitation of that road. So we channel our energy towards ensuring that we rehabilitated the road in 2019, starting January 2019. It shouldn't have been a project of the university. It should not have been. The road is not university road, but our staff, our students, applied it a lot. They were the major road users. So then, why did I bother? I had to bother because everybody was feeling the pain.
Including the Vice Chancellor.
Including the Vice Chancellor. And that pain had to be removed. We did, but I want to say, unfortunately, that road is being degraded again by trucks. And when we challenge them, they tell us that they pay tax for them to go and extract rocks and boulders somewhere in Alabata there. I've complained to the state government, but we have not got any reply. We cannot continue to rehabilitate that road. But we have done our best, and we have alleviated the suffering of our people around that area.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, my next question is much related to the one I asked earlier. I asked the other time, but it seems I'm not too satisfied with it, and that's about mass food production. When government established various universities of agriculture, the expectation of the masses, of Nigerians, was that food will be made available to the people, mass food production. But it seems this expectation is not feasible, so to speak. So what do you think is being the clog in the wheel of progress of this? Especially when people complain that there is no food, and we have universities of agriculture, we are quality research expected to be carried out. So what is your disposition to this?
Let me first of all tell you that quality research is being carried out. I've just mentioned FUNAB Alpha chicks, and there are quite a number of researches on cassava agronomy and dissemination of information and materials, improved varieties to farmers. I was Director of Agricultural Media Research and Extension. We worked in virtually all communities in southwest Nigeria, given improved varieties of crops to them. So the point about mass food production, it's not within our mandate to really do mass production of food, but it's still within our mandate to produce food, and we do that. I can assure you that right at Odeda local government there, the immediate community, Solu community and all that, every year they come to our campus to buy maize, to buy some other crops.
From the university?
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic.
We had a video we did last year about people purchasing maize and the rest. The university community itself depends on or purchase from us, some of the products of the university. The only thing is that we have not got to the level where we can say we are feeding Ogun State as a whole. We do our bit, we produce food, and we sell. Currently, we are harvesting yam, and people are buying. During the COVID-19 lockdown, we did not really close shop on cropping. We had cultivated about 100 and something hectares during the lockdown. And the idea was that we saw what was happening. There was lockdown, farmers could not go to farm, agricultural inputs were not available, but we took the bull by the horn and planned for post-COVID-19 alleviation of hunger. Unfortunately, rain stopped suddenly on July 19, and we didn't get it back on until September 4. At least we have the record. Most of the maize that we planted dried up, but some of the things we planted are picking up again with the rain, like rice and some other products, cassava and the rest of it. So we are involved in food production, but not to the extent of feeding the whole of Ogun State yet. If we get the support
from government or
from government, philanthropist, I can also talk about that later. Okay. But one unfortunate thing which we are stemming, which we are checking now, is this tendency of cattle rearers to run over our farms, including research farms.
Yes, I was about asking that.
Yeah, so including research farms. In 2016, I had an experience where our project farm was run over by cattle. And unfortunately, the donors for the project will count it against us, in the sense that if they did not get the data, they would definitely go ahead to think that we were fraudulent.
Yes.
So we had that problem, but I want to say that the Alake of Egbaland has stepped in and has talked to the Fulani community around there. Now we are seeing some improvement.
You're watching Your Image from the station, and this is a special edition conversation with the CEO, and this is part of the activities marking the 60 years independence of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. My guest is a professor of note, a distinguished scholar, the Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta FUNAB, Professor Felix Kolawole Salako. You can watch us on different social platforms, on DSTV, on GoTV, and on StarTimes. You can also join us on the www.per/primus.ng, and you watch Your Image live and direct there. Also, of course, we are still also on YouTube. You can watch us after this program. And let me go back to Professor Salako. Yeah, I want to talk about human capital development, staff development per se. In what area have you gone in this area since you became the Vice Chancellor?
I think for now, we have trained about 217 staff using TETFund grant. Oh. We have a system of operation which started under the leadership of Professor Oluwafemi Olayabalogun. We have what we call a staff development committee.
Okay.
The staff development committee is to ensure that there is equity in distributing funds provided for training.
Irrespective of the status?
Irrespective. No, these funds are provided for both academic and non-teaching staff, but 70% to be allocated to academic staff, okay, and 30% to non-teaching staff. So for the academic staff, you have funds available for postgraduate training, PhD in particular, what you call bench fee. For you, even if you are doing your PhD in Nigeria, you can go abroad and do some practical things there. The non-teaching staff basically are to go to workshops, conferences. Between the time I came on board and now, we have been able to access this fund effectively. And I have on record that for international training, local conferences, academic training, that's the postgraduate training, and the non-teaching staff, we train over 200 staff. Then in terms of staff development too, staff are allowed to do part-time training, and we have been encouraging that. That's particularly the non-teaching staff. They want to get higher degrees, we encourage that.
And they can easily, of course, upgrade. They can easily do conversion to the
No, it's not automatic. Let me tell you something. I got my PhD part-time at IIT between 1992 and 1997. The condition was that after your PhD, look for another job.
Wow.
No, it's not automatic that when you are trained,
So they have to integrate it.
because the vacancy may not be there.
So it's based on vacancy.
It's based on vacancy. So the issue is that generally in any organization, when they train you, it is even written in the letters we give them that, look, you can earn a higher degree, but it doesn't translate to automatic promotion. It happened to me in IITA, and I had to leave.
All right, Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, let me just ask you this question. Tertiary institutions are known to be very volatile, so to speak, in terms of various union groups, students, staff unions, and the rest of them. How have you been able to cope among these various staff unions, student unions, and the rest of them?
It has always been dialogue, but where I must really have to be frank with people, I have to be frank with them. What I cannot give, I'll tell you. What I can negotiate, I'll negotiate. But it has always been dialogue, and I think I have majority of the people who are leading unions allowing me to dialogue with them. The solution is for everybody to sit down on the round table and agree or disagree, but we need to be truthful to ourselves.
Yeah, you're still watching Your Image, and this is a very special edition as part of the activities marking 60 years anniversary of Nigeria. It's conversation with the CEO, and I have with me Vice Chancellor of FUNAB. Prof, sir, we learned you have a radio station.
Yes.
What is the philosophy behind this, and what brought about radio station in a specialized university?
Okay. The idea of the radio station started when I was director of Agricultural Media Resources and Extension Services. The Vice Chancellor, the Emperor Balogun, charged me with the responsibility of planning for the radio station. But the license did not come until 2015. I think just before President Jonathan was going to leave. Was that 2015? Yeah. Just before he left, he agreed. We wanted that radio station to be for extension services, to communicate with farmers, and also to communicate with the university community and the environment about issues that border on socio-political matters, but definitely not extreme political views. We talk about gender issues. We talked about
different topics.
Different topics, but basically extension.
Okay.
Agricultural
to
extension.
Enhance agricultural extension. All right, to enhance agricultural extension. Oh, time has been fast spent, but I want to tell you that I'll still bring the Vice Chancellor back here next week, God willing, and I'm sure he has agreed to be part of this conversation next week. I want to say a very big thank you to Professor Felix Kolawole Salako, the Vice Chancellor of Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta FUNAB. Thank you very much for being part of this show, and we pray that God Almighty will answer our prayers as we celebrate 6 years of existence of Nigeria. So until we meet next week, I promise that I'm going to bring the Vice Chancellor back here next week by the grace of God, and I believe together we can see the change that we expect in Nigeria. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless all of us. See you next week, God willing. See you.